Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This man, I looked at it. Somebody sent me a long text, dude.
Oh, no, you can't.
I was like, what is that?
Oh,
Hello,
no.
ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Stacker News Live. My name's Car with my BFF Keyan.
You just got served divorce papers via text,
No.
dude.
Dude, that happened. Remember that happened in 21, bro.
You via text?
No, it wasn't via text,
I know.
but remember that?
Yeah,
You
I remember.
those days.
I remember. It was dark. You call it dark times, is what you say.
That was Dark Car.
That was dark car.
That was when they were filming.
It comes
the whole,
back when you drink, but yeah.
It comes back when. Yeah, that was. It's like dark, but it was Dark Car.
Oh yeah. It's like
Yeah, I'll never forget that, dude. During Christmas and everything. Dang.
yeah. I mean,
Live and let live. Who cares now? Now I'm living it up.
yeah.
New bull run.
Her mistake.
Dude, how was your Christmas? Or your week?
It was okay. I've been sick.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah.
It is kind of stuffy in here.
I don't think it's in here, but it was just I've been sick. I've been sick for about a week, and so like sneezing and stuff. It hasn't been too bad.
Did you take anything?
No, nothing. But yeah, I couldn't get the work in. That's how I knew I was coming on, because I couldn't. My work energy was gone.
What happens?
Usually
Do you
that.
just get into a daze?
Yeah, it's like I just can't really focus hard, because completely, my computer completely booting, if my mind's a computer, completely booting on. It's like booting in a safety mode, where you can't really do everything.
Yeah.
That's how it felt. But yeah, otherwise it was pretty good. We got an awesome tree.
Did you really?
Yeah, I loved our tree this year.
Nice.
Yeah, got it. I'm a noble guy. I prefer a noble.
What's a noble?
A
Is
noble
that a type of
fir.
tree?
Yeah, it's
It's an actual real tree, or is it a fake
It's a
tree?
real tree. I only do real trees.
Whenever I did trees, I always did real ones. I didn't do fake ones.
I do not believe in fake trees. I think they're not real.
Totally.
Totally aren't real. Yeah, I'm a noble guy, so we got a great noble tree from a place here in Texas, and
You go back next year?
they cut it custom for us. I'll probably go back next year. They were really nice. It was it was their first time at that location, and so they had trouble getting business. And there was no one there, and we went super late to get a tree.
Yeah, because there's all these people that want fake artificial trees. They don't want to deal
Probably.
with the hassle of pines and.
It was awesome. It was nice.
Did they do the cut where it goes this way and then it goes this way and then that's how you're supposed to put it in there? Did they do that?
No, it was this was a discard tree. It had a curve in it at the bottom, and I was like, can you just cut the curve off and make it shorter? And because our place is tiny, and they did it, and they were super nice about it, and they gave us a discount.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I wrote a review on Google. Even
that's amazing. People look at Google reviews, man. It's a big thing.
They do, but you have to dox yourself to write one, which frickin' sucks.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Crazy.
how was your Christmas?
Dude, it was awesome. I realized I'm getting old, just because I was hanging out with my nieces and nephews, and dude, they were telling me all sorts of crazy stuff that goes on in school. Apparently, there's furries now. Apparently, that's a thing.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. You're what is it?
Wait, real? You mean it's more common?
They
Used to be a joke.
my little niece was telling me that there are these kids that identify as a furry, and that's the whole thing. You don't identify as a boy or a girl, but there's a furry thing. And,
Okay.
that means that they're an animal.
Yeah, I get that. I've seen.
You seem to be taking it okay. I wouldn't.
Well, I mean, I've been on the internet for a while. I've seen what a furry is. I know what it is.
I didn't know what that was. I was like, what? I was like, you're in fourth grade. I'm like, what is going on? What the hell? Anyways, found out about that. That was the big alarming thing for me. And then just hung out with my sister, and that was fun, dude. Just laughing up a storm. We had some turkey and all the fixings and stuff.
Nothing better
Dude,
than a laugh with turkey.
Dude, also just enjoying the water, being by the beach, makes a big difference.
Is it? It's a humid beach, but still.
No, it was great weather.
Oh,
it was
that's
in the
amazing.
70s, and I was just cruising, bro. I was just cruising down the beach.
Cruising on what?
In a car.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
In a car. I thought you were I don't know.
Dude, it was amazing.
On a jet ski.
I realized, I was like, man, dude, Corpus is nice. It's a nice getaway.
Oh, we gonna lose you?
No. She did ask me before I left. She's like, you should just move back.
You probably will someday.
I was like, if I wanted to retire, I'd move back, but
Never
I
been.
don't like easy. You know what I mean? It's too
Yeah.
easy to live down there. It's way too easy. I get too comfortable. You know, what would I do? Maybe just become a writer. That's it. Like,
Yeah, you could make music, do podcasts, writing.
yeah, but it would be too easy living, Keyan. As soon as I came up here, I was like, oh yeah, this is where I need to live. It's just much more harder to live here. I don't mean harder.
Doesn't
I just mean
sound good.
it just means like it's just you're here to work.
Faster pace,
Yeah.
yeah. Not so chill. I agree with you.
Anyways, if you've never seen this crazy show before, it's called Stacker News Live. We cover the top 5 stories on Bitcoin, or the front page of Bitcoin. Stacker News was looking pretty good this week. What do you think?
I think it was doing all right. We fixed some incentives like last week in our release. I think it was pretty bad. Like the incentives are pretty distorted, and I'd let it get out of hand. But we corrected it, and I think it's improved things quite a bit. And we had a return of some people that had been away for a while, which is really nice because I think they got freed up maybe for the holiday, and so yeah, I think it was great. It was great having people who have a little more time to spend on Stacker News for the holidays.
I did realize though that if I didn't have Stacker News, like I wouldn't know what was going on in like the developer ecosystem at all. That was one of the things I realized when I was gone. I was like, wow, like without Stacker News, I'm not just saying this, like would never know what was going on. And I think there's even stuff that we know that's not published on here. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there's some inside baseball stuff that's not published on Stacker News. So imagine if that stuff got published too as well. So
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there is. It's very hard to find channels in Bitcoin, like specific channels of things. Twitter lists are sometimes okay for it, and you could maybe curate a follower list. But if you're just paying attention to like the major podcasts or the major influencers,
you're not gonna get anything.
yeah, it's gonna be you're getting a curated experience that you might not.
They're not telling you everything.
Yeah, you might be missing stuff.
Anyways, this was my go-to thing was this, and then I was getting some crazy DMs from Nick, you know, keeping up to date with all his crazy stuff.
Does he he has a
says
direct
it-
line to you?
Well,
It's like
yeah.
you have like a red phone with
Because
Nick.
we used our internal chat, so
I see.
it's the fastest way to get hold of me. Okay, cool. We're gonna cover the top 5 stories. We're going backwards in reverse. Number 5. This is actually a good week. I've actually looked at all the stuff this week. We're going to talk about some enhancements for Stacker News Live later in the show, but stay tuned. This is a really good episode. Like I have a feeling this is going to be some really informing stuff because this has been trending. This starts with the top 5, or
You're jinxing it.
it is. It's going to be a good show. Number 5, Ellen Hance, a soft fork proposed for Bitcoin. This is from Moonsettler. 34 comments, 16,000 sats. December 25th. Merry Christmas. Bitcoin territory. Keyan. What is Moonsettler?
Yeah, so this is like a dedicated marketing page for the Ellen Hance soft fork. I mean, that's basically what it is. I mean, marketing, documentation, whatever. But this is, they're trying to sell everyone who has a favorite soft fork or that they're working on or whatever. They need to communicate it well, and this is a great way to communicate it because you can put images.
Do you think this is the right way to communicate it?
Graphics. What is a better way?
I don't know. I'm just asking. Do you think this is a great
I'm not sure I'm not sure we know of the way. We don't know the path of getting a soft fork. In the past, it was people who had built up, this is my position, most of the soft forks were proposed and adopted through someone with a long history working in Bitcoin Core who had a ton of political capital doing hard things, without much reward, and we're just doing them. But they were so they built up a lot of trust, built up a lot of political capital, and they wanted to get something done or thought Bitcoin needed something, and people knew that they had the right intentions, and so that's how it got done. And now I don't think we have we don't have anyone with that sort of political capital pushing for a soft fork, and. So, although I would say Jeremy Rubin had some political capital built up, but I think he maybe burned some bridges or something, and maybe wasn't as good of a.
Not a lot of people agreed with him. Let's just
I think maybe there's something like that. I don't actually know. This is just my outside view of things. But anyway, this is so everyone's trying to figure out how do you get a soft fork done now. And so Jeremy did his hackathons and conferences, which helped a lot of people understand CTV. And now, Ellen Hance is doing. They have a dedicated website, and they're kind of explaining the soft fork, and putting themselves front and center. This is who we are, and you can maybe contact us about this kind of stuff. But I've seen reading code at
So it
conferences.
Like, seems like Riardon is one of them, and then we have Moon Settler is another one, who's behind the team. They're famous. This one's a good one. You're gonna love this one. I had a cool new idea for Bitcoin today, and Jeremy wrote about it 5 years ago. What do you think about that? Look at that.
Yeah, I think Jeremy was really thinking about this stuff way ahead of everyone else that was. And
so let's just jump back into this real quick, because I feel like this is where it all started about 3 weeks ago. Maybe I think that's when we last talked about this.
Yeah, it was definitely a step change in the conversation.
I feel like this is just getting ratchet up. Is it ratcheting up? Up?
Yeah, that's what happens with the ratchet.
I feel like it's ratcheting up here. Now there's a lot more people that have dived in. If you haven't seen this website, this is the one that Vortex made. Check the link. Wumbo will post it in the show notes. But anything stand out for you here, Keyan, other than there seems to be way more developers now inserting their name on this list? Well, even Luke Dash Jr. is on here now.
Well, it looks like there are two.
He wasn't there 3 weeks ago.
There are two tables, right? Can you scroll? Because it looks like there's a
developer table.
Yeah, there's one there, and then you go down further, and then there's another table. Okay, so they've separated into two tables, people who share their rationale for wanting to eat software. But yeah, there's probably like 3 or 4 times as many people.
I would say it's like 5 or 4 more times.
Yeah.
For people.
Okay.
I don't see that. I don't see like the blue mats on here, or who else? Who else are we missing on here?
I think the blue mat is shared pretty publicly his position on these soft forks. I think he thinks it's largely premature.
Also, too, I don't see like I don't know. I feel like the more calmer Lightning developers I don't see on here. Not calmer. I don't mean that calmer in a calmer. I just mean like the ones that are closest to the GitHub, I guess. Is that a thing?
Yeah, it would seem that a lot of the core developers and a lot of the like leading Lightning implementation. Well, I don't know. Has Roast Beef joined in yet?
I don't think he has either.
Yeah, I think they're not working around these soft forks or on these soft forks, so they're going to reserve their judgment. And I think part of it is people realize the weight and significance of their support, or.
So you're saying they don't want to prematurely...
Yeah, they want to make sure if they're going to recommend something or signal for something socially that it's the right thing, and they don't make a mistake.
So they want to be on the winning side, is what you're saying?
Not the winning side. I don't think it's that. I wouldn't view it that cynically. I think it's more so they want to be... They don't want to make a mistake, because their mistakes are more costly than other people's.
I see what you're saying. So,
for the community.
So they want to make sure that
they don't lead people the wrong way accidentally.
Yeah.
By giving like a hasty opinion.
So maybe it's like if you ask them in private, they would tell you what they think about
their
but
opinions.
They wouldn't go out there and publicly state it for the record.
Yeah, they don't want to sway the conversation any one way until they're confident this would be good or good or bad.
What does it say about the people that have like the James and the Ben Carmans that have put their name attached to it? Because I would say those are pretty big. Even the Evans. Look at the Evans.
Oh, they definitely are. I think that, that
the Linuses. Look, even Rob, too.
But Ben has been working on this stuff for at least 6 months now. So he's been, evaluating it and thinking about it for a long time in a way that a lot of the people we just discussed aren't, because they're working on their own stuff. So that would be part of it. And same with James. I think James has been, specifically focused on covenants for a while, and that's why he already has an opinion. But
are we going to see a Kube on here or an EK on here?
Probably not. I don't feel like I deserve to have an opinion on soft forks, especially given there are a lot of people who seem to have more standing with making these kinds of decisions. I am in general in support of Bitcoin having covenants, but I I'm not pushing for any particular soft fork on any time scale. I don't know. I don't see any reason why we need it especially soon. I don't fully buy the argument that Bitcoin will is ossifying at a rapid rate right now, which is like really the only argument for pushing it sooner. But again, I don't, I don't spend a lot of time writing Bitcoin script. In fact, I spend no time. I've actually never spent any time writing Bitcoin scripts. I've had software do it for me.
Yeah.
And so I don't deserve to have an opinion on this at all.
So we got Vortex. He was in the comments answering some of John Carvalho's questions that he posted on December 20th on Twitter or X. He said, "So where can I see the amazing UX and onboarding proposed for Covenant UTXO sharing? And you see how much better or worse it is than Lightning." And then he tagged the one Vortex. One Vortex came in, says, "I want an actual software UI demo prototype to actually assess the UX, then put forth some funds, and it can be built. Development is not free." And then John jumps in and says, tell that to your dev idols, not me. The point here is that you guys have started making wild claims and drama about the state of Bitcoin devs and scaling potential. I'm saying that demonstration is required. I'm literally helping you understand what could help your goal." And then he goes on to name some names, and Vortex chimes back in. "Great, then instead of do the research so you can fundamentally understand the benefits of these opcodes. Again, the discussion has been ongoing for years." And then John ended with, "This perspective is why you and the devs will continue to fail. This is no proof in theory." What do you think about this exchange?
Well, conversations on Twitter are hard. I think people get really short-tempered with each other very fast. But I think I made this point. I wrote a little bit about this. I made a similar point to what John is making, where I think if people want more Bitcoiners on board with these soft forks, they need to get the juices flowing as far as helping other people identify what the end user benefits are. And they they talk about coin pools and all vaults and kind of things that are meaningless to sort of, or don't really mean much to someone who's non-technical. And John's like, "Well, show me how the user's experience improves, and that might make your sales pitch better." They say when you're selling someone something, show don't tell is like one common phrase. Another is tell them convey the benefit, tell them what they get, not how they're getting it. So like your car will get you a girlfriend, this car has a V8 engine and I don't know, a loud tailpipe or something.
Yeah, so Vortex, he ended it and he said, "Segwit got activated, Taproot got activated, covenants will come to Bitcoin one way or another as well. Pay more attention and you understand why. There's no theory here. There's literally papers, demos, and ongoing discussion for years. TTV's code literally hasn't changed in years. You need to catch up." Very heavy-handed for the holiday season.
Well, I think they're like talking.
Maybe
past
they know each other. Maybe they. Yeah.
I don't think so. I think they're talking past each other. John is saying that the user benefit. He feels like the user benefit is theoretical.
Yeah.
And I think you could be pretty confident that the user benefit isn't theoretical. That these opcodes will turn out user benefit, but like the degree to which it turns out user benefit is on some level theoretical. Whether it actually produces more usable self-custodial or non-custodial Bitcoin is somewhat up for debate. And it'd be nice if John is just saying, make it clearer to me that that's the case. And I think that's like fair.
Yeah.
I also think not wanting to explain it to John is okay.
I think they're going on the offensive.
Who?
I mean, the developers, Vortex, and the rest of the crew. I don't know. I stay out of this kind of stuff. This is not my, as Vake likes to say in the comments, stay in your lane, Car.
Every clip now he does.
He says, "Stay in your lane, Car." This is not my lane. I know my lane. I don't know. I see a lot of this stuff, dude. I'm just waiting and seeing, man. This is why I don't partake. I love watching from the sidelines, though. I'm like, those You ever see the meme with the monkeys and they're like they have the dollars and they're like betting? That's me. I'm just like watching everything on the sidelines, just like, man, this is getting better. This is going somewhere, Keyan. I don't know where it's going, but
Yeah,
we'll see. But it's been progressing slowly, and I feel like we're watching it. I feel like we're watching like a slow motion. Hopefully, it's not like a train wreck or anything like that. But we're covering it week to week. Snackers are interested in it. They keep zapping it. This one had 15,000 sats.
Heck yeah.
So if they keep sapping it, we'll keep covering it. But it seems to be getting a lot of attention, at least in the developer community. Cool. The number 4 top story of the week is doomerism and negativity. This is from Jimmy Song, December 20th, Bitcoin territory. 61 comments, 6,803 sats. Keyan, what is Jimmy talking about now?
Yeah, I mean, I think Jimmy is just, I think, further owning the term Bitcoin maximalism, and it says opens with the Bitcoin maximalists were right about pretty much everything, and it kind of saying that Bitcoiners continue to be right, and specifically Bitcoin maximalists, and they should continue to own this term because it's like really who they are. And then he talks about people who are trying to kind of rebrand Bitcoin maximalists.
Really?
Or there was like an attempt at one point to sort of segment Bitcoin maximalists into, like, splinter them into further factions, where there were people who wanted to keep the Bitcoin maximalism term and then brand, I think, people like Jimmy, more like and Jimmy and John Carvalho as Bitcoin Puritans.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so he's saying no, you don't get to tell me what name I'm going to take. I'm going to keep taking the same name. It's for people who need to run away from something.
Does Jimmy say he's a Bitcoin maximalist? Does he say that? I've never heard him actually say that.
I think he considers himself a bit.
Oh,
I think he would brand himself one.
I always thought he considered himself like a Bitcoiner. But I guess a Bitcoin maximalist is a term, right?
I've heard him. In a lot of his writing, I've heard him discuss the term Bitcoin maximalism because he's very familiar with the origin, which is Vitalik.
Yeah.
Insulting Bitcoiners who were not into Ethereum.
Yeah.
Or calling Ethereum a shitcoin. Yeah. Anyways, he talks about around the ecosystem how things rebrand constantly because they have a bad reputation, because they've lost their reputation. That name has become tainted, associated with mistakes, and so they move away from the name. And Bitcoin maximalist is basically saying Bitcoin maximalists don't need to do this. And then he's saying that Bitcoin is doing really good, and people are being super negative in the context of Bitcoin doing really good, and it's kind of weird to see. And so,
yeah, that's how I feel about it. I think he hits this last point on the head. He goes, yet the doomers complain that Lightning sucks, or that the fees suck, or that exchanges suck, or that organizations buying Bitcoin suck, or that consensus process sucks, or that mining pools suck. Some of these complaints have some merit, but the vehemence of the complaints are way overblown for the actual issue. These are not life and death issues for Bitcoin. At best, they're nice to haves 20 years from now. Like, I totally agree with that long 2 sentences. Yeah, Lightning's great. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it'll keep getting better. I actually think I think most people are upset. I think it kind of plateaued. I don't think there was much development in Lightning, although there was a lot of development happening behind the scenes, but it wasn't really reaching users. I think over the next few years, we'll see a lot of these things reach users, and we'll be pretty happy with Lightning.
You see what, like, I don't know, we didn't talk about it, but like Yopaki integrating Greenlight.
Yeah.
That's technically Breeze technology behind the scenes that's being used to, potentially Latin American exchange at some point. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's things already happening behind the scenes if you're paying attention that Lightning is bringing to the world.
Yeah, Phoenix D is another huge. I mean, we had with Dusty working on splicing, contributed a lot there, and we have this package relay stuff, which is going to make force closures a lot less common. Bolt 12 is rolling out. It's going to be a pretty big deal.
It's a great time. It's a great time to have Lightning in your pocket.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll see people come back to it. I know, it feels somewhat like at least the app developer ecosystem sort of walked away from Lightning about a year ago.
I mean, if people are giving you free money to go build on these other things, I mean, I don't call it free money, but if they're giving you better money, you know, then you're going to go take the money. You can't blame them for that. They're starving out there. I mean, they're not paying Lightning developers a lot of money. They're not paying Bitcoin developers a lot of money. But if you're building on some of these other adjacent things, you might get paid a little better.
I wonder if that's just a coincidence of like those are what proposals that people had because they were exciting, or if there is some conclusion and people making the people making those decisions at some point concluded that those technologies are a dead end, and so we need to fund these other. I'm curious about.
It's kind of what he says here at the beginning. He says ICOs didn't add any value and were vehicles to sucker new people into giving VCs and token founders money. Blockchains didn't revolutionize industry and were vehicles to sucker new people into giving VCs and token founders money. DeFi didn't revolutionize finance and were vehicles to sucker new people into giving VCs money. NFTs didn't become for artists. And he's saying that, and I think, I don't know, he doesn't say it in here, but I think that's the whole, what are they calling them? Layer 3s, layer 2s? The stuff that's not Lightning. I think we're seeing that similar thing. He didn't put it in here, but I would say that's happening.
Shitcoins on Bitcoin type of thing.
I would say that's the new thing happening this cycle that a lot of people are getting. I don't know if they're getting money for it directly, but they're incentivized to move in that direction to allow these new, I don't know, are they technology? These new.
It's pump and dump machinery. I mean, I'm not, in some of the cases, these L2s, I think they are well intended, but I hear what you're saying. It's like they're potentially a new VC funded.
It kind of reminds me of like, hey, we're going to build out, this plot of land in the city, and it's going to be a new giant mall, and, we'll build neighborhoods around it and stuff like that. And then there's other people like, oh, we're going to build out this new plot of land, and it's just going to be a shitcoin casino.
Yeah, I think we do have L2s. We do have scalable L2s.
It's probably like it's kind of like that. It's kind of like the same people that are still building out the land, the infrastructure, all that stuff. So you can't blame the people that are like shoveling in the coal or the concrete or whatever the concrete and moving the what I'm saying, the architect, the construction workers. You can't blame them. They're just building out what these
they're paid to build out.
They're paid to build out. So I kind of see it the same way now. And you had asked me a year ago, I didn't see it that way.
I don't know. I don't view it that way, but I haven't been thinking about it too much. I know a lot of other people have thought a lot more about what these opcodes bring to Bitcoin.
Oh, I wasn't even talking about that. I was just talking about like the stuff they're already building on top of the current.
Oh, yeah. There's that. There's a similar vibe there, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole nother. See that, and then that goes into like, okay, so let's say if they do get these opcodes in and some of this other stuff that they want, does that mean there's going to be further? I mean, as a pleb, I'm asking that. Like, is there going to be further stuff that then comes? I don't know, but I would imagine so. But I'm staying in my lane.
Yeah.
Undisciplined had the top comment. He said, we're winning and we need to learn how to win. And to keep winning, we need to remember how we won. Wise words. I think a lot of us develop doomery attitudes out in fiat world, and many have a hard time letting them go. The bell curve says doomerism can be an addiction. He said, I think that's true. Confirmation bias is easy to fall into. Yeah, that's a tough one, especially when you're trying to find bad, scary shit to convince yourself. That's my biggest problem is confirmation bias.
It's a problem everyone has. It helps to be aware of it.
Though, that one's...
Yeah. Okay.
It's a tough one.
We all have biases that we're a little more vulnerable to.
Even like reasoning too. Like you're really selective about what you reason for and why those things are, and then you justify those things. And
that's why my position is usually I don't know. Like my default position and everything is I'm undecided. I have no idea. So I'd never. It makes it harder to fall. It makes it harder to ignore certain kinds of evidence when you don't have much of an opinion yet. And I just like the intake of evidence regardless of what it is. So that's why I generally try to avoid having an opinion.
So I think it's better just to pontificate upon things, like fuck having answers to a lot of the stuff or even having opinions. Just like, let's just talk about it.
Yeah, but I mean, you can score points as we've talked about. You can make a bunch of predictions. This next cycle comes, you're the man because you made all the right predictions.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm not sure what all this is, but I don't know what this is. It's Darth doing some stuff. I don't know. Cool. All right, that was good. So far, 2 good stories. See, Coop, we're doing it.
Yeah, we are doing it.
The next top story. What is this? The next top story is number 3. Show HN Bitcoin Piñata, the first piñata that pays you in Bitcoin. This is from Super Tiesnet. Bitcoin territory, December 20th, 21 comments, 2,628 cents. Keyan, what is? Whoa, that's so loud. What is this?
Yeah, so I don't know if Super Testnet is poking me in the eye, but he said show HN instead of SN. It might have just been a typo, but it looks like down there in Guadalajara.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Did he throw those inside the piñata?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
He put a bunch.
Smart.
He
Bolt 12?
Not Bolt 12.
These
are L and URL withdrawal codes. He put a bunch of L and URL withdrawal codes. He printed them out, and he put them inside the piñata, and filled a Bitcoin piñata with the L and URL withdrawal codes, and yeah, it was basically a Bitcoin piñata, and he had a little video.
There's what's his name? I won't dox him, but
he tells us how he did it. He said he paid for a really cheap server, $5. He paid with Lightning.
But they're using Wallet Satoshi.
Some of them are because they allow you to redeem. He puts a list of what they recommended people to use, and then he said he set up a Phoenix D instance. I think he might have connected it to LNbits. Yeah, he connected it to LNbits, and that was his whole setup for a Bitcoin piñata.
There's a good group of Bitcoiners down there in Guadalajara, man.
Yeah,
good group of Bitcoiners. We were just down there earlier this month, and dude, me and Topher loved it. It was amazing.
It looks like they're having a blast.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It reminds me of the early days of Plow Lab when we used to be in the 6th Street location. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, except more brown people.
That's good stuff. Cool. Pleb Poet said, that's really fun. I wish I was there. Dang, maybe we should do that. We should do that for Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, let's steal the idea.
I got to try this at my next birthday party. This is so funny. They're all fighting over paper. Yeah, this is cool. This is a great idea, Super.
Yeah.
It's a really great idea.
Super bringing the ideas.
Bitcoin Piñata. Let's jump into the next top story. This is number 2's top story. Operation Sailor, episode 30 of 120. Bitcoin territory, December 25th. Merry Christmas. Pilar. 16 comments, 2,516 cents. Keyan.
Pilar.
What is this?
This is pretty awesome. So you have to go back because Pilar has been doing this series for, it feels like since very first year of Stacker News. Basically what he describes is doing his own speculative attack. And so we don't really get to see it pay off until this episode. So before this episode, he's pretty much negative, and it was pretty much, kind of in a bad spot. And you can see it in these charts here. But it begins to cross over. The red line there is his debt that he holds. So he took out a loan from the bank. I think it was roughly 30,000 euros, or maybe it was 40,000 here. It was 10,000 euros. Then he has 30,000 euros, then $10,000, I think, in debt or something. Is what that with interest. But so the red line is the debt that he's paying off, and he's paying it off in installments. And then the blue is the Bitcoin that he DCA'd into. And so you see him finally cross over in a big way toward the end. And it's, he's basically tripled his money. And it's pretty awesome because you can watch it. He was writing these every week, and he put his plan out there. And I was like, wow, he's just really writing these. And now you can really see the value of him journaling, what he's thinking about while he's doing it, his fears and stuff. It was it was mostly an experiment to him.
I actually thought he was just chronicling sailors' buyings.
Oh, no.
I didn't know he was doing his own version of it.
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
It's really, it's a really awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah. hard to appreciate until very recently. And he actually skipped a couple of episodes recently, but we get this huge payoff now of seeing the awesome progress that he made, or they made.
What did the Stacker say? Top comment was from EK. Said, "Do you think you're going to do this again in the next bear market in 2026? I'm definitely considering it. As I mentioned in the past, I also took out a loan at the end of 2022, but only 10K.
Ooh.
We'll dive into the next month.
He might double down on it.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, like, what are we even doing at this point? Like, because did you ever see Sailor's? You didn't see Sailor's Twitter thing, right? Where he was talking about like, what do you call it, like Trump Max and all these different things. He was talking. I posted on Stacker News, but after a certain point, Keyan, this is why I think, like, did you ever see that meme that goes like, you know, are you telling me one day I'll be able to trade my sats for dollars or whatever like that? And he's like, in the future you won't need to. I think that future is coming very, very fast. Because I think that this just kind of obsoletes that. Like, why would you take dollars after a certain point for anything?
Yeah, but why would you spend dollars? It's the other side of this, and that, so that's kind of what we're seeing. So the Bitcoin only future requires people actually being willing to spend it, and But
after a certain point, if people refuse to take dollars, I don't know when that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But to me, I'm just curious to think, like, how much longer can this go on? Like, so this will inspire like 10 other people, 20 other people to do it. And then that's going to spread. And then before you know it, everybody's doing this.
I mean, I think even Pillar would not recommend that other people do this, especially where we're at in this cycle right now.
Well, not now, but
he it was a similar place in the last cycle when he started. So,
even corporations are looking at Sailor right now and like wondering if they should do the same.
A lot of them are.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I saw a comment somewhere, but it was like, what happens when there's more than 21 million that shows up on some of these corporate treasury balance. Like, if you start adding up a lot of these corporate treasury balances of Bitcoin, then we start realizing that, somebody's out there making paper Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard to account for, but I mean, Bitcoin is Bitcoin, but yeah, if people are buying into ETFs and,
Yeah, because I think it's called corporate treasuries, BTC.com or something like that. And that's the next thing that kind of goes into all this is like
corporate treasuries, I think, .net.
Yeah. I don't know. Something to think about, Stackers.
Yeah, but it's really cool to see someone doing it on an individual level. A lot of Bitcoiners want, I think, or have thought about doing this themselves, taking out a loan. And what's nice is it wasn't secure. It wasn't a secured loan, so there was no margin call. He didn't take any risk of like Bitcoin going down. At worst, he just had to, he would have to go and dip into his own expenses to pay the loan. So it's a really cool success story of them accumulating on Bitcoin. Because at one point it was like not much Bitcoin at all, and now it's a lot.
Yeah, good job. Dang, really good story so far this week. The number one top story of the week is the rid of Luigi. How do you pronounce his last name? Mangione. This is mostly Harmer's territory. December 22nd. Elvis Mercury, 31 comments, 10,000 sats. Keyan, riddle me this. What is this?
Yeah, I think it's this is a great post about the assassin. So this is a Gerwinder is a Substack writer, and he discusses the interactions that he had with Luigi, because Luigi was one of his subscribers and one of his like premium subscribers that got one-on-one special access to the Substack writer. And so he basically describes most of the interactions.
Wait, say that. Sorry again. You said this guy right here?
This guy, the Substack writer, Luigi was a subscriber.
Oh, of his blog.
A paid subscriber to a Substack.
Okay.
And a premium paid subscriber, meaning that Luigi got one-on-one sessions with Gerwinder. And so Gerwinder came to know Luigi pretty well because they had all these interactions, and so he basically describe, or is like recollecting. He's like remembering all the interactions he had with Luigi. Apparently, I think he was like the last public message was sent to Gerwinder. The last public message that Luigi sent was sent to Gerwinder And but he just goes through and describes like, you know, what seemed to be on Luigi's mind, and that he didn't feel he was a really kind person, and he didn't seem, you know, particularly cruel, like he was going to be killing people, but he did seem kind of lost, is my memory of reading this post. And that they, you know, they shared a lot of the same intellectual interests, and Gerwinder turned him on to a bunch of different stuff, and they debated, scrolling through a part now where they debated epigenetics. But yeah, just kind of interesting to, because I don't think his family has come out really. Seen some people do interviews on like mainstream media news outlets that maybe had some relationship with Luigi at one point, but no one really laid out at least like this top level intellectual curiosity of Luigi and interactions with him on these things. And it was pretty good. And Elvis Mercury just kind of discusses how, you know, how weird, how kind of a weird of a situation it is that people are kind of celebrating the murderer. And there was like some Twitter thread where it was talking about how there was like 19 women showed up and like waited overnight to get access to the courtroom on his like trial day. I don't think it's a trial yet, but like whatever, some court hearing for him. Yeah, and how crappy it is to be someone like Brian Thompson, is probably not a bad guy, but you know, part of a bad system that everyone recognizes as a bad system, and he's just kind of like a scapegoat for the system, and just how fucked up that, like, and intellectually confusing that all is.
Yeah. My sister and my brother-in-law were like talking about this over there, because like they're like in the whole healthcare stuff, and they were like, this is all they wanted to talk about. But I was just like, I don't know anything. It's not my.
You stayed in your lane.
No, I just don't know anything. But she said that's all they're talking about, like in their ecosystem industry or whatever. Because my brother-in-law is like a nurse and stuff like that. That's what they're talking about, is all this stuff.
Oh.
And the only thing I had to say was like, oh yeah, just remember, it reminds me of that movie. They were like, what movie is that? And I was like, oh, The East or whatever. She's like, what is that? And I was like, oh, it was in 2010. This was like when do you remember the whole Dark Knight thing and the whole like, people probably don't. I guess I should share this. Yeah. Cause I feel like, I don't mean this like mockingly or jokingly or like, oh, I knew something, because I didn't, but I remember there was a thorough like thing happening around the 2010s when that movie came out, but it was right around the time the whole Dark Knight shooting happened. Remember, like that guy shot up the Dark Knight theater,
Colorado.
Yeah, and then like everybody made a big deal about it. But there were some threads from that movie where there were some people that attributed similar type of like displeasement with the system that it currently was. And at that time, I think there was people that were upset with the establishment, or quote unquote the establishment that kind of ran the system, right? And I think at that time, like Barack had failed them, right? Politics had failed them. You know, they were seeing stuff like these major corporations. Oh, that was right around the time too, the Occupy Wall Street too. So it was like all around that time, and then that movie came out, and that movie was primarily about like assassinating CEOs of these high-profile Fortune 500 companies that were attributing to all the bad or perceived bad injustices in the world or whatever. So like I remember that movie, and like one of them was like they were breaking into their house and they're like throwing oil all over their paintings and like all that kind of stuff. And there's another where they just shot the guy, like this movie or like this thing in real life. And I remember the time I was thinking, I was like, man, this is all like happening all at the same time. But to see it actually take place, it's not surprising, Keyan, that some people are like happy about this. Like that's not, and that's what I was trying to explain to my sister and my brother-in-law, was like, no, there's people out there that are like really want to see some terror in the world and want to really see some perceived injustices and want to go after people that have this perceived thing of success, whatever that may be. Like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, pretty wild. I think he also talks about Ted Kaczynski's writing in that post, and who I think him and Luigi share some ideas about how modernity is kind of making people disconnected and making them, sort of automatons and not really like the human that they deserve to be. And so there's like, a want for change, and this is and their want for change is showing up by killing people. The worst.
And I think we'll see more of it. To be honest, I don't think this is going away. I think it's re-pumping up. I mean, because of inflation and this perceived success. I mean, I feel like Bitcoiners are going to become a target at some point. Get ready, Keyan.
Well, that's why you say strap, bro.
No, but yeah, it was a whole thing in the 2010s. So I imagine it's coming back. It always spooked me out though when I saw that, because I'm like, some of these people just go to school and then they don't realize that they're a part of some like, behemoth that they're also, that's also, maybe doing some injustices in other parts of the world or even in their own country. But
they don't realize they're part of someone else's problem.
Yeah, as well too. But but at the same time, it's kind of like, but I can see the other side too. I think it's just it just sucks for all sides, because how do you fix this?
Well, I don't think Luigi fixed anything, but maybe I just don't, maybe I'm maybe I have confirmation bias because I don't like people killing people.
No, for sure. I agree with you there.
Yeah, of course.
Anyways,
some awesome discussion here. So recommend if anyone has some thoughts or wants to clarify their thoughts, check it out.
Yeah, it looks like there's a lot here.
Yeah. I mean, this is so I was going to mention, this is the first post Elvis Mercury has made. I think in 6 months they took a big break. They were they're the founder of the Mostly Harmless Territory, and they took a break. So that was another. I think a lot of us were happy to see Elvis Mercury return, because they're a very thoughtful stacker and great writer.
Yeah. Whatever happened to the guy? Because I haven't been following this at all, but like, did they catch the guy?
Oh, Luigi?
Is that the guy?
Yeah, Luigi. They caught Luigi. And
then so what happened to him? Did he get arrested and everything?
He got arrested. He was they found him at a McDonald's.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, he was at a McDonald's with his laptop. Apparently, he had all of the incriminating evidence still with him. His gun, his ghost gun.
Gosh, dude.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Fake driver's license he used at the hostel. Yeah, and I think they recognize him from the photos that were circulating from security cameras that had been released earlier.
It do you remember the whole Boston bombing and stuff like that?
I remember it a little bit.
It was kind of like, this kind of reminds me of that, where like, I remember at that time they put the bombers on Rolling Stone and they made them into like these kind of heroes. Do you remember that?
I don't. I actually don't. I actually never paid attention to the news until a stack of news. I never would have been.
Yeah, if you go back and look, the media also did that too, where they like made those guys. They do that from time to time. They did that with Charles Manson too, where they'll like, every once in a while they'll just like flip, and they'll just find like this one, character, and then they'll just try to make them into like this, this bigger than public figure than what they really are. But I've noticed that from time to time. I think the last time I saw it was like the whole Boston thing that happened, where they blew up the parade thing, or the race.
Yeah, the marathon. But they made him into a hero?
Yeah, they did this. The only reason I realized it, because I had the whole Rolling Stone like subscription and stuff, but he was on the front Rolling Stone cover, and they were like, oh, he's like this kid, and like they made it to like he was like the hero of the thing. It was a weird time. It was right around the whole 2010s thing. That's what I'm saying. I feel like that's already happened, at least in my lifetime. They did that with the Dark Knight thing, and then that was around the whole Wall Street occupying. Maybe this is a whole nother, branch of that.
Yeah.
Somebody should write it up. Anyways. That's all the top 5 stories of the week. Keyan, what was your favorite story this week?
My favorite story of the week. Well, I thought this was a nice story. It was, gosh, I forget their name, but their wife, they're journaling their wife's experience with cancer.
Oh yeah,
over
we're
the
gonna
last
cover
year.
that. We're gonna cover that. But
What was my top story?
what was your favorite one out of the
I
top
see.
5?
I was wondering why you were putting me on like you were asking me to recall from my own memory. Of the top 5. Oh man, there's some good ones in there. I guess I liked Ellen Hance. I liked discussing Ellen Hance. I thought that was pretty fun.
I think that was my favorite one too.
Yeah.
This stuff's too real for me.
It's morbid.
Yeah. Cool. We're gonna jump into some meta real quick.
Okay.
Keyan, tell us about the meta that you dropped this week.
Oh yeah. So we reduced territory costs by half.
Thank you.
Yeah. For all the founders, and then we refunded everyone.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Wow.
You should notice
That's
that.
a bonus.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
We didn't refund. We refunded the difference
For the whole year?
We refunded whatever the difference is. So like you're basically made it so that you're paying this new reduced cost starting the moment we did it. Well, the moment we did it. So we refunded whatever the difference was, and so we just reduced it. We haven't had much opportunity to improve territories, so then they got in fiat terms they got very expensive, and but mostly that we didn't really get to improve them, and I feel like 50K sats is good value.
Well, I would say just being a founder of a territory, I think a lot of us founders of territories realize that we're investing in Stacker News, not really investing in the territory itself. If anything, I'm looking at it more like I'm backing my boy Keyan. Let's see if we can get this rolling. Let's get this rolling. Let's see if we can get you to profitability at some point.
For sure, I appreciate that. Yeah, so that's what I recognize that, and so I'm trying to align everyone's interests. So we did that, and then
I think most Stacker founders, I don't want to speak for them, but I feel like they're mostly all like that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, maybe with few exceptions.
Yeah.
And then we changed the rewards a little bit, and there were some bug fixes. We had some cool stuff on the way. That was mostly it. I don't know there.
Do you think when are you going to get started back? You said that you're going to start doing some territories.
Once we do the switch over, so that'll happen on January 3rd.
We'll start working on some territory
non-custodial switch. Yeah, then we'll have space to do.
I'm excited, man. Is there anything on the roadmap that you're looking to knock out?
Yeah, I think I'll probably write up a post, but I've been thinking about it a bit, and so the main focuses will be growth stuff for the next year, and then giving territories both territories and stackers like much stronger individual identities. And so they can really become their own, like a person really feels like they're their own person, distinct from other people on Stacker News, and then territories feel like they have their own distinct vibe.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's kind of broad, overarching things, but we've talked a lot about the stuff we want to do to territories.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I can't wait to see. I think hopefully we'll see more people jumping in once you start seeing some of these drop. I would say get on it now while you still can.
Oh, we're not. We have a discussion in here where we're like, we're not lowering the price of more people pay for buy territories or whatever, or subscribe. We're lowering the price for existing territory founders because.
Oh, so wait, so what are you saying? Like if you're a new territory?
Oh no, it's for everyone. But we're not doing, the motivation is not to have more territories. We already have probably we haven't like built an ability to make good use of all the territories that exist. And so we don't want more of them.
Oh, okay.
Right. Like that's not the motivation, at least. Anyway.
Yeah, I think there's a good amount of territories. I think so far I'm loving all of them.
Yeah.
I think there's one I stay away from, but other than that one, all the other ones seem to work.
Yeah. I mean, we're getting some really good, like the food and drinks one, that one kind of wasn't getting a whole lot, but we have, Shoe Guard, I believe. They're posting. They used to be a bartender, and they're making drinks every day, and posting cocktail recipes.
Oh, nice.
And it's an awesome collection of cocktail recipes. Like I would never gain this much familiarity with cocktails, which is strange because I just quit drinking.
Beginner's territory too as well.
Yeah, Bitcoin Beginners is great. A little more lower level Bitcoin stuff.
I
Not
think the most popular one is the Stacker Sports one.
Stacker Sports, yes. Greg Ruby and Undisciplined, Blockchain
This one
Boog,
might take over Stacker News at some point.
Those guys are. They have a bigger team than Stacker News
They have
does.
their own podcast too.
Yeah, they also
Look out, Coob. They're gonna fork you.
just rebrand the whole thing.
They're gonna rebrand it to Stacker
Stacker.sports.
They're gonna roll out Stacker stocks and everything. Oh, this is Blockchain Boog? Stacker stocks?
Yeah, Blockchain Boog is.
Wow.
I still owe Blockchain Boog. I know I still owe you a fix, Blockchain Boog. I'll do that this week.
Charts and numbers.
Charts and numbers is great.
And
I
then
love
you always
Charts
see
and
Mostly
Numbers.
Harmless. I feel like Mostly Harmless is such a good territory.
Yeah, people post the kind of
Yeah.
kind of I don't know, more soulful stuff ends up in there.
That one, and then the other one. Where's the one with the? Where's the one? There's another one. I always fall into all the time, which is the tech one. But I think that's yours.
That one's mine.
I guess it's that one. Oh, Culture's another one. That's
Culture's
really good.
Yeah. We
David
get some good
Dudley does
posts in
that
there.
one. And then
Bitcoin mining is picking
Picking
up.
up.
Yeah, we have some cool stuff in Bitcoin.
and then my
mining.
favorite one these days is my new favorite one is the movies one.
Oh yeah, we're doing the movies.
Dude, I saw a great movie. I need
Which
to post it
movie?
on. I won't post it. I'll post it on here, but
Okay.
it's called the Other Man or what's it called? The Adjacent Man. I forget the name of it. I saw it this week. It's an A24 movie.
Oh yeah.
It's with the dude from the Avengers, the guy with the arm.
the guy with
What's his name?
the arm.
I'll look it up here in a little bit, but it's really good, dude. I'm surprised no one's talked about it.
What genre? Drama?
It's like it kind of reminds me. You ever see The Joker?
I have seen the Joker.
Kind of like that, where it's nothing like where it's trying to be like rebellious or anything, but it's like it's a comedy, I guess. But it's not. It's a sad comedy. It kind of reminds me of like a very weird Woody Allen movie. That's how I would describe it. It's like a very dark. If Woody, well, no, there are some dark Woody Allen movies. I would say if there was like a morbid, like if Stephen King wrote in the style of Woody Allen, that would be this movie.
There you go. All right.
Yeah. Stephen
That's
King wrote in
real.
the style of Woody Allen, then that would be this movie. It's so good.
All right. Did you watch Gladiator yet? The new one?
Yeah, saw it over the week.
Yeah.
What did you think about it?
I thought
It's
it was,
exactly like part one, right?
Yeah, it was basically the same movie.
Yeah.
But it was, I mean, the first movie was good. So
Yeah.
it was cool.
Yeah. All right, cool. Let's jump into your top stories of the week. Reflections on a year of life's cancer.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Hodl Pleb posted roughly a year ago about their wife getting cancer. Like I think it was like within a week of them getting the prognosis. The diagnosis. They came on and posted about it, and and so we got an update, and it sounds like the year was really tough, as you'd expect, but they weathered it like people really show up and do the work when it needs to be done, and so they, while maintaining his family and the kids and stuff, and just how this kind of describes how it was, and it's really helpful, I think, for most people. A lot of people have gone through a similar experience, and many people will go through a similar experience. At one point, I had functionally a stepdad who died of cancer when I was young, and it's really tough. For everyone involved, and so just nice to hear these kinds of things, and for Hodl Pleb to have a place to vent about it, and get a little feedback and camaraderie.
Yeah, we had a discipline said, I'm so happy to hear that. Thanks for the update, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who wonders how you are all doing. I'm also really glad your dog pulled through. Losing our dog was all I had to deal with this year, and it was much more than enough for me. Godlike XI said, have cancer, I'll be cancer-free for 10 years next April. Stay on top of your health care. You only get one life so far. And then he said, normal is effing amazing. I don't want an exciting life. It took me a really long time to realize that, like, having a really normal, boring life is like the best thing that you can have.
It's that way when you feel like your life is not normal. Certainly, grass is always greener.
That's what they say.
I don't know. Like when I was a kid growing up, I have really curly hair, and everyone's like, "I wish I had curly hair." And then when you're someone who has curly hair, you want straight hair, and so I just feel like people just want whatever they don't have. That's just the way they are.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
And then the next story that you had was cockroach fallacy. What's this again?
Man Whose Buck is going over crypto economics, which is a book written by Voskill, who wrote Lib Bitcoin. But it's John Carvalho recommended it as like one of his favorite books on Bitcoin, and it's a really awesome book. It's very I read it, I don't know, like a year or two ago. It's very pedantic, but I think it's very like reasonable. It's like one of the benefits of it being pedantic is it kind of lays out the arguments in full, more technically geared, but basically describes the kind of Bitcoin fundamentals and a lot of Bitcoin fundamentals that Bitcoiners take for granted and don't think about too much. And so he's going chapter by chapter and kind of condensing them for us. And yeah, it's pretty awesome. This post in particular is him describing the kind of fallacy that mining pool centralization is not something to worry about, and people will just switch away necessarily. Jason B has covered on Stacker News that having talking to many miners, some big, some small. Most of them aren't even conscious of the centralization issues or what they should do. Should censorship happen? So this post specifically describes why this isn't actually harmless. That mining pool centralization it can be a big deal fast.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah.
You find this stuff fascinating, huh?
I actually really like mining and mempool stuff. That's probably my favorite areas of Bitcoin. I think they're the most interesting because I feel like that's where things come together, really.
Yeah.
Or where drama happens.
Totally.
And drama happens on the protocol.
Cool. That's all your top stories of the week.
Yes.
We're going to jump into my top stories of the week. The first one was XAI raises $6 billion Series C. Did you see this?
I did not see that.
Congrats
actually.
to Elon and everybody at X.
Wow.
They raised, they closed their Series C funding round, $6 billion. And they had investors from A16Z, BlackRock, Fidelity Management Research Company, Kingdom Holdings, Lightspeed, MGX, Morgan Stanley, OIA, QIA, Sequoia Capital, Valor Equity Partners, and VY Capital, amongst others. And strategic investors, NVIDIA and AMD also participated to continue to support XAI and rapidly scaling our infrastructure.
Oh, cool. They partnered with NVIDIA. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. It's crazy to see like this kind of, because didn't OpenAI raise like, was it like $100 billion or something like that? It was way more, right? It was significantly more, wasn't it?
No, I don't think you mean earlier from Microsoft? No, it was like $1 billion. It was like
so they raised so X raised more than,
I don't know what OpenAI has raised more recently, but very early on in OpenAI's history, they raised I think like $2 billion from Microsoft, and like $1 billion of it was like for compute, can only be used for compute, and the other $2 billion I think was for operational costs. Yeah, so I don't know what other funding they've had.
What do you think about all this, Keyan? Do you think, because I don't think we've ever asked you about this, do you think like all this money is clearly going to go for infrastructure, which is clearly a lot of it's going to go to NVIDIA and maybe some of these other chip manufacturers and maybe even some of these portfolio companies that are directly invested in some of these or into the Series C funding round. Do you think this is the game, is the AI stuff that's going on right now between this and Anthropic, and I think who's the other one? There's a couple of players out there, but do you think this is the game that everybody's playing right now as far as like placing their bets for the next 10 years?
I think this is probably one of the bigger competitions right now that's going on. This kind of AGI race. I think there are probably nation states involved in it at this point. I think it is. I think it is a big deal. I mean, like, I don't know what it means on a larger scale. I suspect there'll be tons of efficiency improvements that will make the sums of money they're spending on hardware and data centers and energy and compute look ridiculous in the future. And so that'll look. But you know, this will get us to the point where that happens. But yeah, I think it is like a big deal, and I'm like increasingly a bit of a AI doomer, in that I'm afraid people aren't thinking clearly at this. The point where it gets competitive like this, people stop thinking about like the consequences of their decision making and just mostly concern themselves with winning.
Placing their chips.
Yeah, which is kind of sketchy.
Yeah, to me, it just feels like everybody's just placing their chips.
It's where we are, though, so I don't know.
And then this next one, so that was my first one. This next one was OpenAI's Visa. This was another rsync post. rsync just kills it as far as the news. This was fascinating. Basically, the whole kind of articles about how OpenAI is becoming the next Visa and how Visa was spun out from Bank of America because of its network and all this kind of stuff. I would read the article, but long story short, it goes into how OpenAI's revenue is projected to reach 100 billion by 2029, but there's a major risk factor around that, and how like Sam Altman is essentially just trying to court different governments and different, I guess you could call them VCs, from investing in other similar technology companies. You know, whether it's like X or Google or Anthropic or some of these other places, but it's very similar to what Visa did with their playbook and how they're kind of following a similar thing. And then, I don't know. I think it's fascinating. It's a really good write-up. He links a lot of really good articles. If you're like one of those people that wants to see the source for things, I love whenever I see an article like this where it's just like opinion, and then it's like cited for everything that he's talking about. Like this is the type of stuff that I love doing. Yeah. It's just like, dude, just
rabbit hole.
Rabbit hole it all, bro. Like this is great.
Absolutely.
Anyways, I thought this was fascinating, but did you listen to the Peter Thiel?
I started listening to it a little bit. I didn't get very far in it. I was sad that they didn't have video because I like watching podcasts.
Dude, it's so great though. Like, there's a Peter Thiel podcast for the Stackers listening with what's his name? Rick Rubin, and but in the podcast, Thiel talks about competition, about how competition he goes, if you want to compete, start a restaurant. He said, but he basically has this kind of thesis that.
Have you not read 0 to 1?
I have, but I don't remember that sticking out.
Oh, that was.
Or maybe it did, but maybe I just kind of passed through it. But he was like, competition is for losers, and how like it's not about creating, it's not about value, or it's not about value capture. It's more about. It says it right here. He has it right here. He goes, creating value isn't enough. You also need to capture some sort of value you create. So he talks about like airlines. He talks about all these other things that pass through. Tons of value that pass through some of these big, ginormous ecosystems, and then how they only make like 2 cents on the dollar or something like that for passengers. And it just talks about how he says it right here, he says why monopolies are a good thing. It goes into like all sorts of other things. Anyway, I thought it was fascinating. Definitely check it out, but I could talk about this stuff all day long.
Yeah, I think Peter Thiel has a point. It's a good mindset for founders to be in, because you're most likely going to see competition, whether you're looking for it or not. But you'll probably see less of it if you're not like seeking it out. A lot of people are instinctually driven to want to be surrounded by people, but on top of them, rather than being off on their own, serving people who mostly just want to be served value. Anyway, but I think this post a lot, from what I remember reading, only the first half of it, the part that I found, or I think that I found interesting was the regulatory moat stuff is a lot of what, or OpenAI spending a lot of time developing, is trying to basically pull the ladder up behind them and prevent more or less other American AI companies from getting developed, and probably international ones too, because we're basically we have like a global government, maybe a few global governments, really. The West, now the East is tighter than ever. So anyway, I thought that was
Yeah, I think that's going to be the interesting thing here. Is like because a lot of this stuff. I mean, do we necessarily know where this is all skating to? Is it just going to be APIs? Is it just, or is it more going to be more infrastructure that kind of like AWS and?
We don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't even. Yeah,
that's I think what excites specifically VCs who are they're you could in some ways making gambles, and so that excites them. The fact that they can't see the future clearly can sometimes mean that on the other side of it is something extremely exciting, something very big change, and that's exactly what they want to see. And so,
yeah. Do you think it's going to be kind of like that, the way he describes it being more of a payments network about just kind of building out these APIs? And I don't know, just based off of what, Jim tells us and then Christopher, what I've heard from Christopher, it seems like those guys are going to be at a much better junction, or how would you say, they're going to be at a much better crossroads to being able to pick and choose what they want to be, as opposed to people. What am I trying to say? I feel like they're going to be at a better point of picking and choosing the winners than you actually being out there trying to build out the infrastructure for this.
Oh, you're saying that you think they're going to be better businesses built on consuming the APIs rather than building the AIs themselves?
I think so. I mean, where's the value capture? Other than like if you look at it from like a yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. From an information standpoint, like how do you protect because an AI is like kind of just information. How do you protect it from competition? Eventually, the data you trained it on is probably out there already. The algorithms you used are probably going to eventually be out there. The model itself might leak. The end result might leak. And so maybe you can't capture it. I mean, that was I think early on in the AI boom, this recent AI boom, Google came out with a paper that basically described, I think it was leaked it was an internal Google like memo where they're like, there is no way to capture the value of this thing.
That's why I think the and I mean this in a, like, okay, so that's one thing, but I think in this other segment here, I think there's this capture. What I mean is just the data itself, the data harvesting itself is a whole nother segment. And I think that is actually what maybe everybody's really chasing after. And I feel like that's the actual harvest that's ready to eat. That's going to be the true value. And maybe I'm just kind of confirmation biasing it because that's where I'm headed. But do you know what I'm trying to say? I feel like that's where the value is. The value is actually in the data itself, and the harvesting that the AI is going to do it's going to seek to capture those things. Does that make sense? So when I look at it from, like, we were just talking about these like people that are making agents and some of these other platform builders, like, sure, they're going to use all the upstream APIs that are coming from these different Anthropic or OpenAI X, whatever, and then you're going to have these, but then on the side is going to be this data harvesting, like that, like who's doing all that, who's grabbing all that stuff, and I would imagine it would be those people that are sitting parallel because they're going to come there first, or does it all flow down?
So I'm not. I don't know.
Is that making sense, or I'm probably not making any sense?
Not a whole lot. I think you haven't articulated your vision for stuff super clearly. But yeah, it remains to be seen where the value is captured in AI. But again, that's potentially exciting because for the longest time, people thought people couldn't monetize things on the internet, and now the world's biggest companies are internet companies fundamentally. So it doesn't really mean a whole lot for people to not be able to see like how value is going to be captured and delivered.
I actually think it might even get to a point where you'll just have an agent that just goes directly to you, Keyan, and to me and to everybody else, and say, "Hey, we want to buy your data. This is how much we were willing to pay you for this amount of much. Will you sell it to me, OpenAI agent or whatever?" And I think that transaction will take place. And then you'll just sell your data to those people. And I think that's where I kind of see like all this is really headed. This is just like a short stop directly to that. And then it's just like how many of these agents can go and make all these deals. And then to me, so maybe that's what he's trying to say in this article. Maybe it's a direct to consumer type of technology.
Yeah, KR made this point like a couple of years ago to me. He thought there was actually something to this where there would be like a direct to consumer, like, well, the consumer would be the producer, and
Right.
so of data, and so they would be selling their data. It's not a really compelling future for me. I'm not exactly sure how it happens because you still have all the kind of similar problems with trying to keep data private. It's very hard to do. In fact, it's like paywalls, piracy. You have people like Reddit making deals with Google as if Google gets exclusive access to Reddit's data. And it's like, no, there are probably people scraping it in ways that Reddit isn't able to detect and getting around it. And that data is that once they have that data, they have it. It's not.
So you're saying they wouldn't pay you directly?
I don't really see how it happens. I understand the dynamics of it and kind of the root of the idea. I just like technically, I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense. I think your data just leaks. It leaks and
You just grab it.
make infinite copies without you noticing because the copy doesn't take anything from you that is perceivable. But I might be wrong.
I don't know. It's interesting though.
It's a cool thing to think about. Interesting future we're gonna have soon.
The other top story I wanted to bring up was Rumble announces $775 million strategic investment from Tether. Did you see this?
I
This
did
is
see
the other
that.
rsync post.
Yeah, that was wild. I think we had a few articles posted about this, but this is kind of a big deal.
Big deal.
Yeah, I don't know how much they raised before, but I didn't think they
No, I
raised
think
them.
they just bought. It looks like they just bought stock. And now they're just the largest stakeholder. I think that's what
Oh, is
this
Rumble already a public company?
Hang
I
on
thought
a
it was
second. So-
oh, it is. It's on NASDAQ. Okay. All right.
So the company will use $250 million of the proceeds to support growth initiatives and the remaining proceeds to fund a self-tender offer for up to $70 million of its Class A common stock at the same price.
Huh.
Dude, they're coming after YouTube. That's what this means.
I guess so. And I don't know if you saw, but there were a few days later, I think after this announcement, they were exploring Bitcoin tipping inside of Rumble.
It's happening, dude. This is what I've been saying.
Yeah, especially if I know the Tether guys are like, despite having a fiat equivalent product, they are very serious about Bitcoin.
Totally. Yeah, I think it's definitely going to happen. I think people are waiting for a Bitcoin TV platform. I think it's just a matter of time. I was talking to somebody earlier. I think everybody's going to have to have a platform at some point.
Everyone's going to have a platform. You mean individuals?
I think so.
Their own platform. I mean, it makes sense. It would make sense that that's the direction things are going.
I think so, just because we're moving into this kind of like, it almost feels like a solar system of different offerings. I mean, we're kind of already seeing it in the Bitcoin space. I feel like for the most part, I feel like the Bitcoin ecosystem already operates in this sort of kind of weird future of decentralization in a lot of ways. I think we're already kind of seeing it. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, this is big news. I don't know if it's good news or bad news, but
Good news for Rumble.
yeah, I mean, it's a lot of money, and
Good news if you're a creator on Rumble too, man. Hopefully you'll get some of that.
Tether's probably a
Get some of
great
that tether, baby.
part. Maybe assuming Tether isn't swan them.
What do you mean swan them? What does that mean?
I'm just
Is that a
kidding.
thing?
Well, no, you remember the swan drama? People have forgotten about that.
Did Tether invest in Swan?
You don't remember? You don't remember anything about the
No,
swan?
I don't remember this.
Oh, we
This is
talked
good
about. I
stuff.
think we even talked about it on the podcast.
Oh, we
but-
probably did, but I forgot. Tell me.
Yeah, so Tether and Swan paired up to do that mining thing, and then I think Swan sued Tether. They're currently suing Tether
wow.
for stealing their mining business from them. Is
Wow.
what the accusation is.
Oh, so you
Obviously
think
they
so you
deny.
think maybe this is a but did they invest in
No,
Swan?
I don't think it's a similar thing. I was just making a joke because Rumble's a public company. I don't think that kind of thing would go over very well.
But did Tether invest in Swan though?
They did. I mean, I think they did this
interesting.
partnership on this mining deal, and it had like terms in it that kind of made them joint partners. I think Swan ran the platform, but they didn't really see profit from it until until Tether was fully paid off. And then at some point, Tether's like, what? At least the allegation is that Tether at some point was like, what do we need Swan for? It's all of our money. We can just hire the people who run the mining business from Swan. They just they stomped on Swan basically.
Dang.
Is what it seems. Is what it seems like.
Did you call your boy?
I'm not. My boy Corey.
Yeah.
He was on his court. He was shooting hoops, sweating it out. After a good surf.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It sucks to be Swan, or good, depends.
Yeah.
But, I thought this was like.
I told him to comb his
big.
hair. Just sit down.
Enjoy that California breeze.
Yeah. Just sit on his balcony overlooking some beach. And
You'd be surprised, man. Just looking at the beach solves a lot of problems. I mean,
yeah, I'm sure he's doing fine.
I'm sure he's doing great. Here you go, Rumble. But yeah, big news in the space. Surprised it came in this week or last week. No, this week. 775 million. Damn. Does it really cost that much?
I don't know. I didn't realize Rumble was that big of a business because, like, when I watch Rumble stuff, I get like weird ads, and I'm always like, "How are they making?
I never use Rumble.
Where does their money come from?"
I never use Rumble.
I've used Rumble a couple of times.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
I feel like it's like for Alex Jones types, and I don't mean that in a bad.
Yeah. No. It definitely has. It definitely has.
It
generally
slants towards Alex Jones types.
right wing leaning. Tucker Carlson had videos that were there exclusively for a while during the election.
After this, I don't know, man. I would be like, pay me or I'm jumping off the platform. That's what I would be thinking if I'm anybody on Rumble right now.
Oh yeah, that they have a bunch of money.
I mean, why would you stay on there now? Like at this point, you're doing them a favor.
Well, no, I think because they're gonna grow. You'll grow with them. It's like kind of like Twitter. You're an early Twitter user. Why am I helping Twitter? What am I getting from Twitter? And then you realize your follower count on Twitter is like it allows you to print money.
Now it makes sense if you're but maybe this will do that too or not.
Well, I mean, that's the bet you place.
Hopefully it's Bitcoin and not Tether. Hopefully you get some Bitcoin. Anyways, big story. Stackers didn't comment it because they don't care.
I think there were other ones that people commented on where they're like, "What the fuck?"
Stackers don't care about this kind of stuff. They
also don't. Yeah,
they really don't. They're like, let's talk about covenants.
Yeah, this is also the day we had most of the top posts for the week, so competing with those.
The next one I want to bring up was Stacker News Live. We reached 300, Keyan. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
So we've been behind the scenes trying to get our website going for Stacker News Live, and you can see right there we're trying to do it. We have some videos on here that Wumbo's been helping us make. We have some popular videos now. Look at these popular videos. Look at this.
Wow.
Look at that.
Wow,
I don't know if you ever go on here and take a look, but
200.
look at we even have shorts.
No, I definitely
we even have some shorties on here. Look at this.
Yeah.
Look how crazy we look.
I try to reply to the comments. I try to censor the scams.
I'm trying to get more people to click on these links. Give us a subscribe. I feel like we should be way more popular than we are, but we're not.
No, I don't think so. I think we're growing at the right pace. I think we're.
This is the website. Check it out. There's tons of stuff here.
Website.
If you've never been to any of the stuff, here's our fountain. Check out the fountain. Boom. Look at all this. Look at all these episodes. You can dive in. 152 weeks in a row. Can't believe it. And then we even have a Twitter too. We even have a Twitter right now too. Look.
Oh.
No blue checks.
Yeah. 19
followers.
Look at us.
It's growing. Anyways, Wild Hustle said, great job, guys. Keep it going. EK. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention. EK is going to be doing a Zap overlay. I'll implement that next week. But he messaged me today saying that he has that ready, and he built it. So hopefully we'll have Zaps.
Could we be like those TikTok streamers that do like the
that would be cool.
Like yum.
Yeah, this way Rumble won't take our Bitcoin.
Yeah, don't let Rumble
take
our Bitcoin.
I wonder if they'll kick you off though. You think they'll kick you off if we had an overlay? Probably not, right?
No, I don't think so.
Unless they
I think it's probably just to make it easy so that people don't have to develop their own.
Yeah. If not, we're rolling it out on Snacker News, right? We need to make a Snacker News live territory. Somebody should do that.
I think we're okay. I don't think we need one yet. Once we break 1,000 subscribers, it makes sense.
Anyways, just wanted to share that. So if you haven't, hit that subscribe button. Leave us. Oh, also this too. I didn't even know we were on Spotify. Look, we're on Spotify with like the Joe Rogans. Look at that. And we're also on Apple Podcasts. We only have one person who's left a review. It's probably just my sister. That's it. I don't know why the cover art's not showing.
Oh, yeah. We need some more reviews.
Oh, yeah. And then, like, you look, I didn't even know that Oliver put on here now where you can do.
Let's see all
the comments.
Our boosts.
Look at that. There you go. This is from last week's episode.
Oh, P.S.
We'll get to that later. Cool. That's all the stories we have this week. We're going to jump into the top the top snackers of the week. Keyan.
That's right.
Giddy on up.
Okay. It looks like Undisciplined was the top stacker aside from me. And then we have someone in hiding. Gray Ruby. I think this might be the first week Undisciplined is at the top.
R-Sync's up there now.
Yeah, R-Sync.
Top 7. Top 6.
Yeah. Blockchain Boog. A familiar name. Elvis Mercury on the comeback. Den is back.
Darthcoin. Wow.
117.
He's marching his way to the top 10.
I Am Single. I don't maybe, what happens when you're not single anymore? Do you keep the name?
I think he just keeps telling everybody single.
I see. Maybe they're not single already. Maybe they're poly.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Is that like a furry or something?
Oh, they're always single. It's kind of like a furry. Gotta be honest.
Here goes Max. Look at Max.
Oh, dude.
Max is making his way back.
27. That's a good number. Good job, Max. Still stacking.
Joe Nakamoto. Look at Joe Nakamoto.
Dude.
He's a popular snacker now.
It is popular. Did his AMA. That helped a little bit.
I feel like he should do a travel territory.
I don't think he should do a territory. I would not recommend anyone. I need to make like a disclaimer. I would not recommend right now anyone do a territory, to be honest. I'll recommend it when it's like it's 100% likely to win for someone. But yeah, awesome week. Awesome stackers.
All right, let's jump into the most popular segment in Bitcoin. People have tried to dethrone us at this time because they're like, we don't want to go up against this segment, the Cowboy segment. Giddy on up, the Cowboy segment. This is the most popular segment in Bitcoin. I'm telling you, it's crazy because I get emails about this. People say, "Hey, Car, we want to come in and talk about this Cowboy segment."
You said BTC Sessions put his hand on your chest, right?
He basically just said, "Hey, you guys have the most popular segment. I'll push back my pocket." He didn't say the pushback, but he's still going against us.
I said he stepped off of the throne and let us take our...
He's still doing his show at the same time. He says, but
he'll just take the hit. He's like...
He just knows that I'm going against Snacker News Live, the Cowboy segment. Once that segment starts, there's no
massive drop. He sees he can correlate
He can just look at it. Like right now, if he went to Twitter, you just see everybody jump off of BTC Sessions live broadcast and they come over to Snacker News' broadcast because they're like, I got to watch Cowboys. Screw all their stuff that they talk about in the top 5. Screw that. Just coming for the Cowboys, which is kind of crazy, but...
No, I mean, it makes perfect sense, really. I think we all know.
Everybody's tuning in, which is kind of, I don't know, man. I still don't get this segment, but it's not for me.
I don't even know who started the segment.
It was you that started this segment. I didn't even want to do this. I didn't even want to do this segment.
I don't think I ever said.
I just got a BTC Sessions notification. BTC Sessions is live.
See, he's watching, dude.
He's doing the end of year recap. He just launched 20 minutes ago. There you go.
He needs to pay attention to Peter Thiel, dude. Competition is for losers, dude. Don't try to compete with us, bro.
But see how he started 30 minutes ago? Because he knew he was like, oh, I got
he had to time it right.
He's like, let me just time it right. So the Cowboy segment gets in right around this time, and then...
Yeah. Anyways, it's a familiar list.
We got Coob at the top. We don't know who this guy is, or this person is, or this furry. We don't know who this furry is.
Yeah, it might be a furry. That's why they're hiding.
We got a Discipline 117 blockchain. Dude, blockchain Boog, man. He has a horsey. He has a cowboy hat and a shooter.
Oh,
Look
yeah.
at this.
Fully stacked.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, he's not playing. I feel like Boog is coming for number one.
We'll see. I mean, he has them.
Look how much he's
keeps
stacked,
coming.
dude. 1.3 million?
Yeah, big stacker.
Is that legal?
I have no idea. I mean, technically, Stacker News was not legal for.
Hey, we're experimenting.
I don't think so. At least.
Experimenting.
Definitely am.
Experimenting like Rumble, but without the tether money.
Yeah. Anyway.
Woo!
Yeah, millions of sats. Just great.
Great Ruby. Still stacking after all these years.
Oh, yeah.
Number 10. Look at that. RC
Gonna break
number
a
12.
million soon. Yeah.
Choke 1. Jason B. Darth Coin. Wow. Darth Coin? Look, he's old school. He's like me. He's just like, I just want a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
He's old school. I don't know. I don't need a freaking horse.
He's a cowboy credit maxi.
Can you have a shooter without the cowboy hat?
Can you have a shooter without the cowboy hat? No. They are, in some sense, correlated.
How do you get a shooter again?
We do not reveal that. It's an Easter egg. It's for cowboys
Stacker
to find
News,
out.
If you're listening right now, somebody make an Easter egg post with all the Easter eggs on Stacker News.
Like,
And
you're asking me, like, how do you tame a horse, Keyan?
And drop
It's
it
like
in meta.
cowboys know how to tame
Drop
a
it
horse.
in meta.
I gotta tell you.
Easter egg post. I will zap 5,000 sats. Boom.
Oh,
Somebody
wow.
did this already. I don't know if you know that.
Did what?
They
Put out a bounty on.
They did an Easter egg post.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, if people want to do that, like if they want to create spoilers
Boom.
for themselves or
Look at
others,
that.
they can do it.
There am I, number 49.
And the code is open.
3
so
days.
go
Look at
look
this.
at it.
Very busy. Very busy. Look, that's how many comments I have. I have way more posts than I do comments. Or
Yeah.
no, I have more comments than I do posts.
Yeah.
19 referrals though. That's coming up.
Yeah, you roughly have the right ratio. It's usually 5 to 1.
98 referrals. Wow. Who has the most referrals?
I think I might have the
208?
yeah.
That's weird.
It's not that
37.
weird. I probably have I have
50 sync
more
from RC.
posts than a lot of people.
Oh, Darth Coin has 164 referrals.
Yeah, they do have a lot of them.
Oh, he's probably just posted them on his Substack, right?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe he's the one that's bringing more stackers.
He does bring a lot of stackers. He does a lot of invites where he gifts people sats. And
So
invites
he's
them
reverse ass
personally.
milking.
Yeah, he's getting ass milked.
There you go.
Yeah. Savory Darth juice.
Yogi. Yeah. Pretty
Yeehaw.
pretty crazy week on Stacker News. Let's jump into the top zaps. Let's go to Fountain. And looks like we have Blockchain Book says Zap on SNL 151.
Zap.
Bitcoin versus the world. We had user somebody said, with all the discussion of Cowboys on the show, I need the fellas to play and review Red Dead Redemption 2. Did you ever play Red Dead Redemption 2?
I did not. I had never played a Red Dead Redemption game.
I played part 2. It was great.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
I didn't finish it though. I think I got as far as like the snow one, where you get in that cabin and then you're in the snow. And then I never made it past that. I never picked up the game after that. It was just too much work. Became a full-time job.
Yeah. Yeah. Games are awesome, but I get addicted to anything, so.
We had Piaz said, Merry Christmas, gentlemen. Merry Christmas back to you, Piaz. Good seeing you.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Pretty much it. That's all the zaps this week. Keyan, what are you doing? What are you doing this weekend?
What am I doing this weekend? We have a lot of pull requests open, a lot of cool pull requests open that I will probably spend my weekend merging. I don't know if I have really anything else. Enjoy my Christmas tree, which I talked about already. I don't think I have any other plans. How about you? What do you plan on doing?
That movie, the one I was talking about earlier, is called A Different Man. It's this one
Different
here.
Man.
It's this one here. See if I can pull it up. Yeah, this one. A Different Man. Okay. Yeah, it's
It's kind of dark, eh?
It's very dark.
I don't like it. That's probably why I haven't seen it yet.
Oh no, you'll like it. It's
I
basically
don't like dark movies.
the less you know, the better. But yeah, just watch it. I mean, it's not bad, but it's a different type of. I've never seen a movie like it before.
I don't like movies that make me feel like grossed out about the world, and so I stay away from dark movies.
No, it's not gross out by the word. It's like like I said, it's like a Stephen King meets Woody Allen movie.
It's like horror.
But it's not. It's not
It's
a
like
horror movie.
neurotic horror is what I get. when you say
Melodic
it.
horror?
Neurotic.
What do you mean neurotic?
Neurotic is like anxious, like kind of very
Jarring. It's
energetic.
It's a very jarring
Pointless
type
thoughts.
of movie.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you'll like because the acting's like superb. I think the acting's just like next
I do
level.
like good acting.
It's real. It's like the best thing about the movie is just the acting.
Okay. That's sometimes
Yeah, it's
they
called
can.
A Different Man. Check it out. Maybe I'll post a review.
Okay.
What am I doing this weekend? I think just working. Ready to get back to it, Keyan?
That's right. You've had a
Nice vacation.
Yeah, you're on the beach,
On the beach, cruising.
cruising on the beach.
Right.
You keep
Ready
saying
to
it's a
get back
weird
to
thing
it,
to say about the beach.
Ready to get back to it.
Yeah.
Feeling good.
Awesome. Yeah, it's nice and empty here. It's like we own this floor. Where are
pretty
you at,
quiet.
Joe?
pretty
Yeah.
Wait, what are you doing?
I'm just kidding.
Calm down.
I'm just kidding.
No, it's
Obviously, I'm
pretty
kidding,
quiet.
Joe. Please.
It's
Let me
pretty
keep my
quiet
office.
here.
Yeah.
I think everybody's just on vacation.
Yeah, everyone, Bitcoiners have families.
Yeah.
People don't know this, but Bitcoiners have
I
families.
feel like the last 2 weeks. I feel like the last 2 weeks of the year is just always like this week and next week. I feel like we'll just be dead, and then it'll pick back up that 7th or whenever that first week of the year is.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to getting started early. Once we came back.
Yeah, it'll come hard. I think we haven't had a recovery. We haven't had this recovery and then a January before, as you know, the whole clan, the whole Austin Bitcoin crew, the whole Pleb Lab crew hasn't had one of those because we started in the middle of like last cycle.
Yeah.
Interesting.
This is what is this? Ass milking is a topic that is poisonous. What is this?
Oh, is this new?
This feels new. An hour ago.
Oh, I see. I haven't read this.
Who made up this term, dude?
This is Darthcoin's term. He's the one who brought it to Stacker News. So
This is
Scoresby told
this
us
is
what
why
it
I
is.
mute anons. I just don't see anons now. I used to
Oh.
not mute anybody, but now I mute all the time now.
I like Anon. Anon is there's one Anon that's fairly familiar, at least like the stuff they post. But but sometimes you get trolled by an Anon that isn't that Anon, and it could be.
I don't even care anymore. I'm just like muted.
There.
Just muted me. I'm 90% sure Darthcoin has muted me. Oh man, these are great. Anyways, there for you, stackers. Here goes. This will be a good post. These always do good. I feel like these ass milking posts do the best on Stacker News. I feel like these are heat checks, if that makes any sense.
Heat checks.
Like where people are just like checking the temperature of the room, get people riled up.
Oh, I don't know. I've seen a few of these today, but I don't know that one for some reason someone zapped the crap out of it.
And they want to talk about it.
Someone really wanted to see it.
Yeah. All right. Snackers,
Well.
have yourself a great weekend. Enjoy the time with your family. If you're still at home enjoying the holidays, we'll be back here next week. Is next week New Year's Eve? When's New Year's Day? Is it on Friday?
It's the first. So is that?
Wait, is it?
That's like 6 days
Oh,
after.
it's Tuesday. Okay, so we'll be in 2025 next year. Next Snacker News.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next year.
See you next year. There you go.
Anyway,